afternoon and welcome to the Sage Sorority. I'm your host, Shantel. How are we all doing, guys? Happy New Year. And secondly, I'm so sorry. I genuinely have a good reason. I actually recorded a pod yesterday and was going to upload it. And I got distracted and I was like, that's fine. I'll just upload it later. And then I woke up this morning and I was like, I think I want to record an entirely new pod. So that's where we're at. Firstly, welcome to 2026. It's Jan 1st. I mean, I think we all wish Jan 1st was on a Monday because that extra fresh start energy, but it is Thursday. So happy Thursday. As you guys know, my birthday was yesterday and I had such a lovely night. So I don't know if I'm unique in this. I don't think that I am, but I don't think I know anyone like personally in my life who gets it. I get really serious birthday blues, and the amount to which I feel it varies from year to year, just depending on how I'm feeling and what I'm doing. But I really felt it this year. And my plan was to pretty much stay home for New Year's Eve, which I don't normally do. I think the last year I did that was 2021. And I was like recovering from COVID. That was pretty much the last time that I spent my birthday on my own. And I never really do. I'm usually traveling or with a partner or with friends or just doing something. So I was more than fine. Like that was my plan. I had my champagne chilled and ready to go. I had my caviar. I had my champagne glasses already washed and put aside. I had my blinis, my creme fraiche, my truffle chips. All I had to do was go to the grocery store and get chives. And I was like, I'm going to order some cheeky little chicken nuggets, have my caviar, open my window and patio door at midnight. Cheers to myself, and wear my red dress that I had that didn't arrive in time for Christmas, my gold jewelry for good luck, my red underwear. Guys, I had it all planned out, okay? And not only did I want to sit and think about what I wanted for 2026, but I also wanted to do a decent review of 2025. I don't want to just move forward without taking good stock of what happened. And that was my plan. Maybe I could see a little bit of fireworks from my place. Sometimes I can, sometimes I don't, just because I feel like my neighborhood loves to pop off some fireworks. And that was genuinely my plan. That was it. And sometimes the best plans were never made. And that's exactly what happened. So my friend was like, hey, do you want to do dinner on the 30th or lunch on the 31st? And I was like, I thought about doing dinner last night, but I wasn't feeling well. Sorry, on the 30th. I wasn't feeling well. I was in the throes of birthday blues, and I just didn't have the energy and the gusto to sit across from someone and be in a good mood, you know? And a part of that is recognizing that regardless of whoever's company you're in, often there is some sort of emotional labor, right? Especially if you're out in public. Like if my friend wants to take me out to dinner, there's a social contract that I'm making with that person. And I don't want to sit across from someone and be in my head and not present and not in a good mood, et cetera, et cetera. So, and I was really proud of myself for being honest, because normally that's not something I would really like share with someone. I said, hey, I'm kind of in the throes of birthday blues. So could we maybe have tentative plans for tomorrow? And I'll just like let you know how I feel. And that's not really my thing. I feel bad dangling something in front of someone. Like I like to be clear. I don't want to waste someone's time. It's also the 31st. Things get very complicated transportation wise as the day goes on. But I really appreciated that she held space for me. And she was like, no problem. Just I'll talk to you tomorrow. Let me know how you're feeling. 31st comes. I wake up and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling in good spirits. And I'm like, okay, like this is good. Like let's do the late lunch and we'll have a good time. So we go to Ivy Asia St. Paul's, which I hadn't been in so long. The last time I was there was on a date, which was so long ago. But I liked the food. So it was great. The vibe was good. Service was decent. And we had a good lunch. It was perfect. And then she suggested that we go to OXO Tower to have like a sunset drink, because this is around like 4-ish. Sun is about to set and we're near like South Bank. So it's like, okay, cool. Like this could be really nice. Like we'll do that. We'll go home, like whatever. Again, my champagne is chilled. My caviar is in the fridge. My champagne glasses are washed and set aside. Like I was genuinely prepared to like be at my kitchen table, journal, Roses Thorns for the year, all that. We go to OXO Tower. Long story short, it's closed for a private event, which it's like, okay, ballers. So the bar, the viewing area, the brasserie, it's all closed. So we're like, okay, that kind of sucks. So now what do we do? Luckily, next door was Sea Containers, which is a hotel. And this is not an area of London that I really frequent. So it's not like I really knew where to go or what was going on because I never hang out in this area. We go there. There's quite a bit of people in their hotel bar. It was like nice. It was open. They weren't fussy with us. We didn't have to pay to get in. There was 2 stools at the end of the bar. We could sit there, easy, order drinks. Great. Like, oh, this is perfect. So I was also thinking that maybe they would close because, again, this is like a weird midday, not midday, but like late afternoon batch. And sometimes venues will close so that they can properly prepare for dinner service and also your New Year's Eve service because maybe they have ticketed entry or whatever. So we're having our bubbles and I'm like, hey, like, what's the plan for tonight? And he was like, yeah, DJ's going to come and we're basically here until 2. And I was like, oh, okay. Not thinking anything of it. Anyways, guys, we end up making friends with this lovely couple who've been married 35 years to the left of us. My friend is married. So we had really good conversation and she was like so cool and so fun. Someone was dancing up a storm. And I remember seeing them and telling my friend, like, that's how I want to be in like my middle to late age. Like I want to be out on New Year's Eve. Well, it's my birthday, but out with my partner having a good time. Like to me, that is the epitome of like a life well lived and a life that's continuously living. I have a story of being in Cannes at Baoli F1 weekend several years ago and seeing a couple the same way, like on the beach at like 11 p.m. dancing and having the greatest time of their life. And I remember seeing them and being like, that is the life I want for myself. And I still have that vision so clearly. That must have been like 8-9 years ago. Because this was before I moved to London. But that is my idea of like kinship and community and like intimacy and fun with someone really close to you. So it was really, really nice. And guys, the DJ started and that was it. That was it. I went to White City like 2 weeks ago. I know this is a very long intro, but I'm just letting you guys know the last like basically 48 hours of my life. I went to White City several weeks ago and an amazing party, amazing. And I was like, that is the best DJ I've heard in London all year. And I have not danced that hard all year. And then this guy came and blew it out of the water. When I tell you that me and my friend, once we got up to start dancing, we never stopped. Like we never stopped. And it's not even like a lot of people were dancing. At most, there was us, the lady that was the couple, and it was only her dancing. Her husband wasn't dancing. And then there was another couple that came. So at most, you're talking about 5 people on the dance floor, including me. Like there was no one dancing. Like everyone was just like sitting, kind of looking. It was a weird crowd. I'm not going to lie. It was a weird crowd. But maybe they weren't feeling the music. I don't know. We had such a good time. The DJ was so good. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Like, my friend woke up and she was like, I literally woke up thinking about the vibes yesterday. And it was like, no, we had such a good time. Our lunch was at 1:30. I got there a little bit late. We did not sit down to catch our Ubers until after 3. When like DJ was like done, packed up, and we were like, okay, it's time to go. I left my house for over 12 hours and I really thought I would be back in 5 minutes. And I was a bit like, oh my God, I didn't do my things. I didn't eat my round food, my caviar, my olives, my grapes, my blinis. I didn't have like my red dress, my red underwear, you know, all the superstitions. I didn't open my door at midnight. I didn't like burn like what's going out in 2025 and write what's coming in 2026. Like all the things, all the rituals I didn't do, but I did in my own way, which is being hot and having fun, which there's a content creator on TikTok called Amber Aquila, and she always says that, like, live your life with the only mantra of being hot and having fun. And then Tinx, who I'm going to reference again today, she always says, like, having fun is so much fun. And you guys know, if you don't know, like, I love to go out and I love to dance, like love. Like I always say I love the club, and it's not necessarily that I love like the club per se, but it's really only clubs and some type of bars where you can go and like actually dance, right? So when I say the club, it's really that I like to dance. I love music. I love like a little bit of alcohol. I love dancing, and I love being with good people, which if I'm dancing in the club, I'm always with good people. So I did my own ritual, and very true to me, like dancing with a good friend of mine and having like deep conversations, good drink, good chat. That is my ritual. Like that is so my brand and so me. It wasn't planned, which is probably less like me, but I was like open to it at the same time because it was like, why would I turn down something that is here in front of me and I'm having a good time to go home and commit to my plan just for the sake of? Like the most important thing for the new year and for any year and for any of us is being true to how we feel and what is for us, not necessarily being a slave to your emotions, but being honest about what you need in any given moment. And it's like, I know that for my birthday, I wanted community. I wanted to feel held and prioritized and also have a good time. And I literally got all of that and more yesterday. So, anyways, that was a very long intro just to kind of give you guys some insight into how I celebrated my B day, at least on the actual day, and also why the pod is so late. But as you can tell by today's title, Roses and Thorns, what 2025 actually gave me, I got this inspiration from Tinx. She's an amazing podcaster, author, executive producer, and influencer. She recently made a podcast episode about her roses and thorns for 2025. And I thought the concept was really good because although, what I believe about the actual new year, I do think we can be so focused on what we want to do and achieve and have for the next month or the next year, but taking stock of your previous year is really important. I also think year compass is a really good one as well, but that is a lot more detailed and a lot more lengthy. So it really depends on your style. But if you are someone who really wants to do a deep dive on your year, I think Year Compass is a great idea. You can download it for free. I'll link it in the show notes. But for something a little bit more light, but still effective, in my opinion, is Roses and Thorns. And essentially, this is about different aspects of your life and different aspects of yourself. The rose would be what went well, what were you proud of, what was a win. And the thorn would be maybe what didn't go so well, what are you not so proud of, and what maybe you would improve upon for the future. I think the format is very clean and very honest, and I think it also allows you to celebrate your wins. I know I've mentioned on the pod before that I have a running list of highlights in my phone. Sometimes I forget to update it, but I really like having a list of highlights in my phone because it helps me to remind myself of all the good. I think I can definitely get very caught up in like what I don't have or what's not working, that it's really hard to see maybe what is working and what I do have, even though like I'm someone who is a very grateful person. But they say like if you're hating on something or you're angry about something, you can't be grateful at the same time. So I think doing a better job of just diving into the gratitude and doing that mindset shift when I feel myself starting to veer off. And really, this is about, it's not necessarily about romanticizing your year or tearing it apart, because even if you felt like you didn't have a great year, trust and believe you had wins, you had major moments, you had highlights. And I think Roses and Thorns allows you to really tell the truth. I think another good trend that I saw this year was the friends getting together and putting their little like toothpick with their highlight of the year in a cake. And I did that for myself. I actually wrote out 3, 6, 9, 12, and I'm staring at them on my fridge. So I also think if you haven't done that, writing out some little wins for yourself is a really good way to detail your year. So obviously, like I said, a rose is going to be what worked, what grew, what surprised you. And a thorn is, what hurt you, what stalled, what disappointed you, maybe a little bit of shame, and what stayed unresolved. This isn't about necessarily fixing it in real time or making excuses for it. And it's not about unnecessary or toxic gratitude or spiritual bypassing. It's just clarity. So the categories I would say would be work, self, travel/fun, health, home, love, and friends. You can also add more categories, things like money, family. If you want to do dating instead of love, or you can do dating and love separate, your creativity, confidence, spirituality, faith, maybe boundaries, pleasure, which I think is a great one, discipline, and maybe like your own identity. You don't want to have more than like, I would say max 3, but really you want to stick at 1 rose and 1 thorn per category. And you don't want to justify your thorns and you don't want to water down your roses. Like just let it be for what it is. And this is not a comparison against someone else's life. This is really just about your life. So I'll share some of the things that I wrote for myself to kind of like give you guys some ideas. I literally have like my notebook in front of me. So for work, you want to say in your rows, like what move forward, any growth in confidence, discernment, identity, skill set, direction. It doesn't only have to be income, obviously promotions. Maybe it was a lateral move, but it's something that's more fitting to you. Maybe you change industries. Maybe you launched a side hustle, things like that. So my rows for work this year is absolutely launching the Sage Sorority. I launched in February, almost at 1 year, and expanding my freelance business. So I landed a new client that's very fitting in a new industry for me. So that's a lot of growth. It's a startup, which I've dabbled in startups in the past, but this is a very true, I would say, traditional startup. So expanding myself that way career-wise was great. I would also say for social media, which is obviously work, I hit 32K on Instagram after being flat and stagnant probably since I moved to London. So my Instagram has been super flat for the last 7 years. Like, I don't know what's happened. Me, the algorithm, life, a mix of both, or maybe something else that I'm not considering. But I've been super flat on Instagram for a very long time. And this year, I've actually experienced growth. And when I wrote that, I was at 32K because I'm referencing also like my little flags. And now I'm at 33.1. So growing on Instagram for sure was like a shock to me this year and definitely a win. And then on TikTok, I would say my video series on confidence, I really wanted to have like a batch of work on something very specific. I really consider like Sage, and initially I think I said in the reset that my very first episode that it was going to be called Voice Notes with Shantel, and it was going to be almost like a collection of essays and thoughts, which I guess is what podcasts are. Well, mine definitely. I wanted to have something on TikTok that was like a body of work that was focused on something that I care about a lot, which is confidence. So all those videos are there. If you want to see them and binge them, I would love that. Leave a comment. I also have a playlist on TikTok as well that's called Confidence. So all the videos are there. So I was really happy and proud of that. Thorns, so where things feel slow, unclear, underpaid, misaligned, dips. So you want to name the frustration without necessarily blaming yourself, but just, it just didn't hit. These things within whichever category just didn't hit. And for me, I would say I still don't feel completely satisfied work-wise. I do feel a little underutilized. I feel like there's so much more I can contribute, both in my freelance career and on the pod and as an influencer, just in any aspect work-wise. The influencer marketing stuff is still not nearly as consistent as I want it to be. Although I did grow on Instagram after being flat for so long, my TikTok has really hit a lull. I don't know what's happening to me in the app. Like, I'm still posting videos, but they just don't really seem to be getting a lot of traction lately. I don't know if I'm the only one feeling it. I feel like I'm the only one feeling it, obviously. And I would say I've had 2 of my videos recently like been striked as like unoriginal, which I'm like, okay, that's very strange. And I feel like the creator fund on TikTok is getting more strict. So yeah, TikTok has been a little bit of a lull for me lately, which has been very unmotivating because obviously when things aren't working, you don't want to pour more into it because it feels even more draining. So yeah, TikTok has kind of been a thorn this year in a way that I didn't really think. And to be honest, I think it's really been like the last 5-6 months. Like the beginning of the year, I feel like was a lot stronger for me with TikTok, but it is what it is. Sometimes progress is not always loud. Like I said, my growth on IG is very small, like very, very, very small, but I'm really happy with it. And it's something that I can point to and be really proud of because it's been tough. It really has. And a thorn, not a thorn, but definitely something I want for 2026 is I want to share more of my fashion. The thing is why I stopped is because it wasn't really moving the needle. And it's not that I don't enjoy doing it. And it's not that it was only for the gram, because putting together outfits, buying clothes, and loving fashion and style is something I would do, not even if I wasn't online. Like that's something I would do if I didn't even have a cell phone. Like I literally love it. I still take pictures of my outfits. They're just not great pictures. So if you post them, they're probably not going to perform well. But trust and believe, like that is something I love. And I want to do a better job of like showing my style again, just because it's a creative outlet for me. It's so cheesy to say that, but it's true. And it's something that, when I'm feeling down, when they say you're feeling down, like get out of your head and get into something because it allows you to focus on something else. I think what I'm going to try and do now is when I'm feeling down about anything, especially career-wise, is like, okay, let me just style some outfits and take pictures because that genuinely puts me in a good mood. So another one we can talk about is self. For roses, you want to talk about emotional awareness, boundaries, intuition, self-trust, anything that you handle personally better now than you did before, I think is a really good one. And everyone has that win. I know you do. And for thorns, I think maybe old patterns that still show up, maybe times where you really got out of pocket and you recognize that, any type of fatigue or doubt or comparison or loneliness that just didn't magically disappear, or you didn't handle it maybe in the best way. And the thing is like self-work doesn't mean it's ever done, right? Like life is one big research project, as Amber Aquila loves to say, and we are our greatest projects. Like we are Van Gogh's Starry Night. We are Da Vinci's Mona Lisa. Like that is who we are for ourselves if you want it to be. And I want it to be. I am my greatest work, my greatest body of work, my greatest project, my greatest success, and ultimately maybe my greatest failure. So I think being really honest about yourself and always looking inward and never being scared to go deeper and reveal to yourself what is being found and what's being noticed is really, really, really important. For me, the rose, I would say emotional honesty. One thing I'm gonna do is be radically honest with myself. One thing I always tell my sister is like, no one can ever pull me up on me. Like I know who I am, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I love that. I love that. It's one of my greatest joys, sense of pride, achievements, whatever you want to call it. I definitely had a stronger sense of myself this year. I'm getting more comfortable disappointing other people and or just being more comfortable advocating for myself. Like advocating for myself is something I've been talking a lot about to me, but also to my friends. Like advocating for yourself. It's something I've been saying a lot in the last, I would say, 6 months. So yeah, that's something that I feel like I've done really, really well. Never being scared to know my why and to know where something is coming from and just being able to sit in discomfort. That is something that I wouldn't say I was always good at, but I think I've always had a hunch for it. But this year, I think I 10x'd it. Like I am not afraid to sit in the discomfort of my own decisions or someone else's decisions or a hard decision. And trust me, that does not mean I'm sitting in the discomfort and the pain like a Buddhist monk, because I'm not. Sometimes I'm sitting in, and often I'm sitting in the discomfort and I'm feeling grief, I'm feeling loneliness, I'm crying, I'm journaling, I'm avoiding the world, but not crashing out over it and not making decisions that would cause me to spiral and get back into the bad place. So I'm really proud of myself for that. Thorn, being very hard on myself and definitely feeling like I'm missing something, I'm not good enough, or I'm failing in some sort of way when things don't work out. I can have a very rigid view sometimes because in my head it makes sense. Like, okay, well, I work harder on this than most people I know and it's not working out. So like, what am I doing wrong? Because I'm the common denominator. And while that statement is true on the front end, like it's true logically, there are a multitude of different factors that make up life and make up different aspects of success and failure in anything. I'm not even just talking about material things or work or money that you have to account for, but it can be very hard in the moment. And sometimes it doesn't bring me any solace. It doesn't bring me any comfort. It's not a balm like over my wound. I'm just like, okay, but I still suck. And like, how do I fucking get out of that? So I think I need to do, I know I need to do a much better job of the over functioning and like it's okay, like put in my deposits. I can only control my 50%. The universe is going to do the rest and I have to trust that it's going to work out. And that's very, very, very hard, especially because some of the loops I'm talking about, it's not, oh, I've been in this loop for a year or 6 months. Like I'm talking about years. Like even the fact that I get birthday blues, like that bothers me. And then I have shame that I get it, because I feel like, why do I feel like this? I'm too old to feel like this. Like, I shouldn't feel like this. Like, it's immature and I'm an adult and, I felt like this for so long. Like, when is it enough? And that kind of like spiral, like it's like you feel bad and then you judge yourself for feeling bad. And that is something that I can definitely do. And that is a thorn that I really, really need to work on for 2026. And this is actually the year that I want to get back into therapy. I've had a few years off. I think I mentioned it on the pod. I love my old therapist, but she's kind of like half in therapy, half building her own brand. So I'm looking for someone else. I had a discovery call with a therapist over the Christmas break and it was terrible, which has never happened to me before. It was bad. And I thought about talking to a male therapist, which I never have before. And it was really bad. And I was like, is it bad because he's a guy, or it was bad because it was just bad? Like, yeah, I feel like that's a new level to unlock for me, like being with a male therapist. But then it just went so poorly. And I was like, okay, maybe I just need to stick to the rivers and lakes that I'm used to, AKA women. So we'll see. We'll see. Another one I'll share with you guys is travel/fun. I put that together because it was just easier for me. So for the roses, you would say where you felt alive, expanded, back in your body, very sensual, very present, moments that really reminded you who you are outside of the labels and responsibilities. This is definitely for my moms out there, like moments where you didn't feel like a mom, or you didn't necessarily have to feel like a wife, or all these responsibilities, or work was the last thing on your mind. Like you were just you, having a great time, being hot and having fun. And then the thorn would be maybe trips that didn't land how you would hope, fun that maybe felt forced, lonely, or anticlimactic. Again, you don't have to remedy it, just kind of calling it out. And the reframe there is not every experience needs to become a highlight reel for it to still have validity and for it to still matter. I think this is very important, especially for my travelers out there. I think we can get very caught up in every trip needs to be amazing. And I learned a long time ago, I think the more you travel, the more you realize that like, it's okay. Like every trip might not be like 10 out of 10. But that doesn't mean like one, the trip is not worth taking, and two, like the experience was null and void. I had lots of travel experiences that were like very meh, but I'm still glad I did it, because sometimes I walk away and I'm like, yeah, it was okay, but I also learned that maybe I don't want to go back. And I think that that's okay. And I don't know where I got this shift, but I learned it years ago because I used to do a lot of internships and even unpaid internships. And I remember doing one in fashion and lifestyle PR. And this is like pre-Instagram days, like really like the beginning of social days. And it was 3 months full-time, unpaid. So when you want to talk about broke and grind, literally that. And I remember when I finished, the only thing I really walked away with, or the strongest thing I walked away with, was that I never want to work in PR. Like I never want to do that. Like it was awful. And I'm sure the industry is much different now, but agency life is still agency life. And I remember being like, yeah, I don't want to do that. So with the travel, not every trip is going to hit, and that's okay. Sometimes you have food poisoning. Sometimes the weather is bad. Sometimes you and your friend have it out in the hotel room. Like sometimes these things do happen, but like it doesn't mean it doesn't matter, and it doesn't mean it's not, you can't find joy in the experience. You're still walking away, I believe, better than how you were when you walked in, if that makes sense. So for me, this year, or 2025, I should say, my rose is definitely 1 month solo in Dubai. I'm so glad my friend and I did the house swap. It was amazing. It honestly feels like 3 years ago, which is insane. Like that's how much we're consumed with things that like long memories like don't even stay. But yeah, I'm so glad I did that. I definitely wanted to know what everyday Dubai felt like, and I feel like I do. My goal would be to do a month in Dubai in the winter. So like that would be my ideal situation. Like maybe I should do all of November or something, because December is just too hectic. Like I love December in London, and then I have to go home for Christmas anyways. Or maybe January. I think January would be a cool month to do in Dubai as well. But yeah, like I'm just so glad I did it. I went home for Thanksgiving, which was great. I haven't done that since I left. I haven't experienced Thanksgiving in Canada since I left. So that was really, really nice. I'm going to add in my very random New Year's Eve, because technically that was in 2025. So fun. And I would say when it comes to fun, like overall, just being a steward of a good time. I'm a loyal and faithful steward of having a good time, of my own pleasure whenever and wherever I can find it. without a detriment to myself or others. I went to Manchester for the first time this year. I actually went last January. I went to Soho Farmhouse, which I loved. I went to DC to visit my sister and my niece and nephew. Went to Athens, Mykonos, Kos, Borodrum, and I really enjoyed and used my Soho House membership this year, and I want to use it even more next year. The thorn, I would say, is I don't think I traveled enough. This was definitely light on the travel year for me, which was a bit disappointing, and I really started to feel it towards the end of the year, especially because like I didn't travel for my birthday, and it's like that's something I can usually always like kind of lean on, and I didn't do that. I haven't done a solo trip in quite some time. And that I'm like, that's a no. I need to, like a weekend away in a European city. Like I haven't done that since 2023. And that I need to fix. Like that I need to fix ASAP. So I need to prioritize travel more. I used to, and I feel like I've kind of fallen off. And I really want to fix that. Scheduling joy. So scheduling things ahead of time. Like I was talking to my friend about potentially going to New York. And I was like, well, when do you want to go? And she was like, in the summer. And she was like, oh, you don't like to plan ahead. And I was like, yeah, I need to. I actually need to. I used to do a lot more last minute travel, and I feel like I got into that rhythm. But then if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So I definitely want to schedule more joy, solo trips, expand my network. That is like probably my number one goal this year is I want to really expand my network. Associates, colleagues, friends, everything. I want to meet all the cool people everywhere, which I don't feel like people really say, but I don't care. I want to meet all the cool people everywhere. And a thorn, I would say, is I need to make Toronto trips more me. When I go home, it's very family, which is great. Obviously, I love, but then I do get a little bored sometimes when I'm there. And one of my friends was like, well, boredom is kind of part of the family experience. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's true, which I thought that was very profound because I've never heard that before or thought about it. And that's okay. I think boredom is healthy and important. And if you have young children, they say that you should let your kids be bored because that's where creativity comes. But what I think I could do, which is tied into what I said like 2 seconds ago, is I think I could schedule more joy for myself when I'm in Toronto. And I think I need to, instead of just being like, I'm just going there to see family and then see family and maybe like rotting on the couch, it's like, I could do a better job and a better steward of my own pleasure and like book things in for myself, like book in shows. Like I should have went to see the Nutcracker, which I did last year, but I didn't do this time. And like things like that I should have done for myself. Maybe getting like a cheeky hotel room for like 2 days downtown when I'm there because I know that I enjoy that and I love being in the city and just walking around. So I think when I'm in Toronto, I need to do a better job of like scheduling my own joy. That would definitely be a thorn. And another one, and finally, I'll share with you guys friendship. So my rose this year was one, making more friends. I think that will probably be a rose every year. I just love meeting new people, like not just anyone, like meeting new right people, like when you just really connect with someone. Even if it's just a one and done situation and you have like a good glass of wine or a good conversation, I really enjoy that. And I'll stop doing it when I don't enjoy it. But for now, we are good. I think on a deeper level, I was very honest with myself about what I want from my friendships and what I want my friendships to look like. And I don't think I've ever really outlined that in a clear way to myself before with where I'm at in my life. And I think that that was really important for me because once you get clear on what you actually want, then everything else filters through that, right? I think having clear standards, and for me, a big rose this year, and what I'm proud of myself about doing is taking a step back from things that are just not serving me. And that doesn't mean treating people like they're disposable because I don't believe that. And I know that no one's perfect, including myself. But being very clear with, yeah, this is just not serving me. And it doesn't have to be a mean thing because oftentimes, especially as adults, people aren't being mean per se, even if their actions come off as hurtful. It's just more of like a disconnect and letting that be okay. And letting my absence speak for myself, not in like a passive aggressive way, but just giving a little bit of distance where it's clear that some is needed. I would say like those are my roses. And then also like spending time and making plans and being with my people, you know, traveling with people, but also making time for the catch-up coffees and the catch-up dinners and the catch-up lunches. Even though sometimes I can feel like I'm on like a circuit, doing that and like making the effort, extending the DM or the text, but also like having enough confidence and security and pride in myself to also like know when maybe I need to take a step back from that. But yeah, just my goal every year, and my rose ideally for every year, is just getting closer with the people that love me and I love them back, and putting distance between those where those waters are a little bit more murky. Thorn, I would say sometimes feeling under-supported and unheld in ways that feel very palpable. I would say like that was definitely my thorn. Yeah, I would say that was definitely my thorn this year for sure. Friendship loss and friendship fracturing, I think, can hurt differently. And we don't talk about that a lot publicly. Obviously, over here, sisterhood is one of our major tenets. So it's something that I want to deep dive more and more in 26, because I think all of us are looking for that kind of content and looking for that kind of reference point. And I want to be able to not only support you guys in your friendship endeavors, but support myself as well. Okay, so I hope I've given you enough inspo for your own roses and thorns. You guys can do this in your notes app or in your journal, even a voice memo if you just kind of want to say it out loud. Get a cup of tea, cup of coffee, or a glass of wine. You don't need to post this, and you don't need to like hyper edit it either. Just be honest with your life. I also think that because we have so much going on at any given time, a really good way to detail my year or just to see what has happened is to go in my photo album. I feel like that is the easiest way, and just go month by month. It just helps to re-jog my memory if you feel like your memory is a bit slacking. If you post on Instagram a lot, you can go on your Instagram account. Also, going through your notes app, I think, is very helpful, and your journal over the year as well. So I hope that you had an amazing New Year's Eve, and I hope that your 2025 was ultimately good to you, even if it wasn't perfect. I know that this year was very transitional for a lot of people. It was the 2025 lunar calendar year of the snake, so a lot of shedding, and that's something I definitely felt. 2026 is year of the horse, so I hope that that means we're going to be thriving. I really do. I hope that you're entering this year clearer and in good headspace. Clarity and honesty always comes out on top and always beats out intensity or performance or anything of the sort. So if your year had more thorns than roses, I'm so sorry, and I'm praying that 2026 is better for you. But I know that the roses were there, and I just want you to focus on that. There's no such thing as being behind, and that is really what I want to leave you guys with. If you do your roses and thorns exercise, let me know. You guys know where to find me on all socials. I love you so much. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026, the year of the horse. And I'm wishing and praying that this is our best year yet. Thank you for being here as per usual every week. And cheers to new and better and amazing and exciting things for me, for you, and this pod in the next 12 months to follow. I love you guys, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.